On today's show, we continue to rank the top 25 Leafs of the last 25 years. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Did you happen to see tonight's sellout down at the Dome? I bet you a lot of people use their Gametime app to go and grab tickets last minute to go and check out the Blue Jays Yankees game. Looney Dog night, Scherzer on the mound. It was really a perfect storm. A sellout crowd at Rogers Center. When's the last time we've seen that?
Especially on a weeknight game.
Yeah, it's probably been a decade since we've seen that. It's fun to see. And that's the beauty of Gametime. Prior to the game, even after first pitch, you can get some pretty cheap tickets. I was taking a peek. You could still get into the building for $30, still in the first inning if you would have used Gametime. It's been a lot of fun watching the Blue Jays this summer. Hopefully they can continue to do some good things. Lost last night, their first loss in 5 games, but still, what are they? Three games up still on the Yankees for the divisional lead after that one? 3 or 4 games, I believe, up on New York. Either way, they're at the top of the AL East. Hopefully they can continue that. Go check out the Locked On Jays podcast if you are interested in following along and listening to what's going on with the Blue Jays on a daily basis. But here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, Dave and I obviously dive into all things Leafs. And the only real newsy item today from Leafland, we're in the summer. It's dog days. There's not a whole lot going on. Most people are on vacation. So we are doing this top 25 Leafs in the last 25 years, kind of a quarter century ranking. So we've been doing that. We started on the last show. We did players 25 through 21. And then today we're doing players 20 through 16 and onward over the course of 5 shows, each of us unveiling 5 more players from our list until we get to the top Leaf of the last 25 years. Dakota Joshua will not land on this list. Obviously, he is a Maple Leaf currently, but he will not land on this list. He did speak with media today. That's kind of the lone newsy item of the day. And he's wearing number 81, Dave. He'll be wearing old Phil Kessel's old number 81. How do you feel about that?
I was trying to think if anyone's worn it since Phil Kessel's left.
I don't know if
I don't think so.
Probably in a preseason game or a rookie camp, I would think. You can look it up. Leafs to wear 81.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now. 81. Only 2. We did have one player, Mac Hollowell.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hollowell did wear number 81. You're right. Yeah, so Mac Hollowell did rock 81. Good Niagara boy, actually. His parents lived right next to my sister in Niagara. Shout out to the Hollowell family. But yeah, you're right. So not the first guy to wear 81 since Phil Kessel departed, but the first regular in the lineup, I guess, that you'll see 81 on the back of someone, and it's not Kessel. Not going to score anywhere near the amount of goals as Phil Kessel, obviously. But I'm still quite, stoked about the Joshua trade. I'm still being asked my thoughts and opinions. I know it went down about a week ago, but still being kind of stopped and the stop and chats. Oh, what do you make of that Joshua trade? Not bad. And I'm a fan. So he's going to be wearing 81. Was there anything else that kind of piqued your interest in his media availability today?
Talked a lot about him and Kessel kind of have a similar journey, right? Both of them were diagnosed with cancer, and both cancer survivors, testicular cancer survivors. Ironically enough, they almost not. I think Kessel was was kind of a similar situation where it was before he joined the Leafs. Got traded to Toronto, and obviously kind of takes your career in a different move when you move to Toronto. So so he kind of talked about that, how it kind of put his life into a bit of perspective there. He kind of talked a little bit about not joining the Leafs right when he was drafted, and being moved to St. Louis for future considerations, and now coming back. And so, I think I think it's just kind of nice that he'll get that opportunity to be with the team, despite never actually, like, he was in development camps and stuff, but never actually having a chance to play in the NHL games with the team.
Yep. And now he will, and he should play a prominent role, within the top 9 of this Maple Leafs team. All right, Dave, let's get back into the rankings. And before we dive into what we players 20 through 21, do you quickly want to give a quick recap of what the first 5 players of your list looks like, players 25 through 21. What did that look like for you, Dave?
Yeah, so 25 to 21, I had Joffrey Lupul starting off the list at 25, Tyler Bozak, Jake McCabe, Zach Hyman, and the all-famous Jake Gardiner at 21.
So Jake Gardiner on the list. Spoiler, Dion Phaneuf is not on Dave's list yet. Jake Gardiner is. And I don't know if you saw the poll I put on Twitter. Who I put it, we're having the debate on the podcast. I asked people to weigh in who had the better Leafs career. I think it was like 78% said Dion Phaneuf had the better career. So I'm not crazy. Dion, which the people in the comments on YouTube were in favor of your take. So I was like, this is insane. Like, am I the one in the wrong? So I took to Twitter, and no, Twitter's got my back. 78% said Dion Phaneuf had the better career. And Phaneuf shows up on my list at some point. Could be today, could be tomorrow. Who knows? We'll have to find out. But my list yesterday, players 25 through 21, Nikolai Kulemin, TJ Brody, Nick Antropov, Tyler Bozak, and then Jake McCabe came in at number 21. Players 20 through 16 for both Dave and I coming up next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. It's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Price on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. They've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and their lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of the Locked On Network, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming game. You want to go check out the Jays Yankees tonight, the series finale. You can go do that. Use Gametime and get yourself $20 off your first purchase using the code LOCKEDONNHL. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the app, create an account, and use that code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are 3 days a week now that we're into the summer months for the next about a month and a half until we get to training camp. Then we'll ramp it back up to weekly shows Monday through Friday. But for the next 6 weeks or so, we'll be down to 3 shows a week. But we're still bringing you some good content. And who doesn't love a good summer list to debate about? And we had a good debate about the Jake Gardiner and Dion Phaneuf from the other day, yesterday's show. I would imagine that we'll have a similar debate of some kind on, players 20 through 16 when it comes to our rankings. I'll be curious to see how many are we have similar, because I think we had 2 players that were the same, different order, but 2 players in our 25 through 21 that were the same. Both had McCabe and Bozak in that portion of the list. We'll see if we can double up again here at some point. Just like you did the other day, I'll give you the floor and let's get to it. Players 20 through 16 on our top 25 Leafs the last 25 years. Dave, Give me your list.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Just
Oh,
gonna pre-curse.
how are you cheating? What do you mean you're cheating? What does that mean? How?
Technically, this player did play in the year 2000 with the Leafs, but his career started with the Leafs before 2000.
Okay, but how long? He played 1 year in the year 2000? Like in the 2000s?
That's a good question, actually. He played.
Okay, who is it? Who is it, Dave?
It's Sergei Berzin.
How many years into the 2000s did Berzin play?
Technically one.
Okay, we'll allow it. It is a little bit of a cheat, I will say, but we will.
I wanted to give this guy some love though, because he was a gamer.
State your case. Go ahead. State your case then.
It's funny because we talk a lot about like the Leafs had like a certain type of player that they really liked in their peer, like the Pat Quinn era, where they're all about like big, mean players. Berzin was not big, 5'10", about $196, but he was one of the few. Like if you look at the players who have scored throughout like a certain era for the Leafs, this guy had. It was in the 98-99 season. He had 37 goals in 76 games. He was one of only like a handful of Leafs to get over 30 goals in like that certain period. He had 22 in his last season with the Leafs. He had 22 goals, 50 points in 79 games, and 7 points in 11 playoff games in his last year with the Leafs. He was a very underrated player, also because he was picked 256th overall.
Yeah, he turned out a pretty solid career, all things considered. I'll give you that. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, we could throw him in there. We could definitely throw him in there. He did play in the 2000s, technically. Only,
I played a little loose with the rules on that one.
It's fine. The criteria we have was, a player had to play at least 3 years with the team. That is the criteria that we have set for this. If you haven't had 3 years with the club, you were ineligible to be on this list. I do have one exception. I will say that I do have one exception. But that's, he did play 5 years with the team prior to the 2000s, obviously. So we'll let it slide. That counts. So you've got Berzin coming in at number 20. Who's at 19?
It's a defenseman whose career did pass the 2000s with the Leafs, but
there we go, Dave. Picking it up now. Doing it right.
Dmitry Yushkevich.
Oh, okay. I like that pick.
He wasn't a big point producer, but if you were to say a defenseman the Leafs could have used for all those years, that right shot defenseman, Yushkevich was definitely that guy. Played in the All-Star game. This dude even later in his career with the Leafs was averaging about 23, 24 minutes a night. He was, again, when you talk about gamer in the playoffs, the guy averaged over 24 minutes a night. He was such an underrated defenseman for this team. And again, not the biggest star, but just solid defenseman. Like he's almost gives me like maybe I'm wrong with this comparison, but a bit of that TJ Brody-esque sort of vibe with me.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I could see it.
If I could all those years of the Leafs looking for a right shot defenseman, a guy like Yushkevich was probably like the prototypical right shot defenseman this team was looking for. Yeah,
I mean, that could have been it. I mean, yes and no. The perfect Riley partner, maybe we could say, right? Like sometimes, right shot defenseman, you're hoping they could be a little more offensively gifted. That just kind of seems to be the case. But yeah, he would have been a good partner for Riley back in the day. It's just funny you make the TJ Brody comparison with him, but Yushkevich was not on my list, I will say, but he may have been a miss for me. That may have been one guy who I kind of missed out on because, the points weren't necessarily off the charts. What was his career high with the Leafs? 28 points he had with the Leafs in
Yeah.
98, 99, 28, 27, 24. So it's not like he lit it up when he was with them. Had over 500 games, just 135 points in that timeline. But still, he was a very effective player. Yeah, he averaged 23 minutes a night with the Leafs throughout that 7-year run that he was with. So that may have been a miss on me. That's a good pick on you. It's a miss on me. I still probably would have had enough over him, I will say, but that's besides the point. All right, give me your next guy at number 18.
Next guy, a fan favorite. Maybe some will think I have him should have had him a little later on the list.
Okay.
Darcy Tucker.
Okay.
I mean, there's just no way Tucker was not going to make this list. But, again, another player that beloved, and some people when they talk to me, they're like, why is Darcy Tucker like getting so much fanfare even today, even though he wasn't like the superstar player on this team? He didn't have to be. He didn't have to be a superstar. He just had to be just a pain in the rear to play against, put up some solid production in Toronto, right? Like consistently, you could say like healthy, he was good for 16 to 24 goals a season. Playoffs, he also delivered. When he was in that kind of more of that offensive role, I hated how his Leafs career ended because he was still producing.
Yeah.
After the lockout.
That's it, right? That was like where the Leafs really got squeezed coming out of the lockout, where they just couldn't afford to bring some guys back, and Tucker was one of those guys. And what he signed for like $16 million in Colorado, like a 4x4 deal, I want to say. That's quite a bit of money back when the cap was like 50 million or something like that, maybe even less when it first came out at that point. Maybe it was somewhere in the 40s. And they gave Tucker a quite of a hefty sum to sign in Colorado, if I recall. I mean, Tucker very clearly deserves to be on this list. 1000%.
I think he had like 3 years. Like his contract with the Leafs had like 3 years, $9 million total. I think it was like $3 million a year. Mm-hmm. The guy was putting you think about that today. You sign that guy in a heartbeat to that type of deal. Like it's just crazy.
Oh, yeah. Dakota Joshua could be that guy though. Dakota Joshua has like some Tucker in him. Yeah. I will say that. He's got a little bit of Tucker in him. I'll say that. And he's making what, 325 with the cap being way up where it is. Like it's possible that we could end up seeing Joshua become a big fan favorite. I really think that people are going to like this kid once they get to see him. But Tucker absolutely deserves to be on this list. Who do you got coming in at number 17?
17. Probably some of my favorite Leaf playoff moments came from this guy, Mr. Steve Thomas.
Stumpy Thomas. You got a lot more vintage on your list than I do, I will say, based on which kind of makes sense, I guess. Like those early 2000s.
I did say nostalgia was going to play a part of my list, and that's probably why I'm endearing to some people who like my list. I mean, all the few times I got to stay up late at night to watch Leaf playoff games, it was because Steve Thomas was one scoring those overtime winning goals, or just again solid playoff producer. 26 goals, 46 points in 63 games. That's like Mitch Marner production, but scoring more goals.
I will say it is a bit of a cheat again, though. He only played one season in the 2000s. Like he started his career with Toronto, played 3 years. Yeah, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, and then came back late, played the 98-99 year, 99, 2000, 2001, the year that was it 01, 2001 or 0102 when they made it to the conference final. Maybe it was the following year.
2001 that they made it to the conference final.
Yeah. So that was so he was there for that, obviously. But yeah, it may have been the following year.
Might be the year before that.
I think it was 0102. Yeah, 0102. He wasn't there, but the year before they still made the playoffs. I think they it's goals in 11 games in the playoffs. It's 6 goals each year he was with Toronto in the playoffs. 6 and 17, 6 and 12, and then 6 and 11. So the guy produced in the playoffs, which can't say that about a lot of former Maple Leafs, that's for sure.
That was a nostalgia pick for me with Steve Thomas.
Yeah. No, that's we'll give you that one also. I will give you that one as well.
You won't. The next guy on my list, number 16. You can't doubt it. There's no doubt about it whatsoever about him being past the 2000s. I get back to the 2010s with this one.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Is it JVR?
It is definitely JVR.
Let's go! I knew it.
Fun fact. I don't have it with me. It's somewhere upstairs. JVR was the first NHL player I ever interviewed.
Oh, really? Well, tell us the story. Go ahead.
Okay, so I got they were doing, I guess they were he was partnering with Wonderful Pistachios. back in that's my first introduction to Wonderful Pistachios, JVR.
This is back when you were in like university, right?
Yeah, I was in university at the time. I wasn't even like full-time media yet. I was like blogging at the time. A bunch of like media people were invited to do this day at a gym out in Mississauga. So I had to like dress up in gym gear and we did a workout. And JVR, like, he didn't do the full workout because he was obviously playing at the time, but he kind of led through the exercises. I don't know how I survived those because I was not a very big gym goer and I didn't know how to do the exercises to the degree that some of these other guys are doing, like sled pushes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I interviewed him after. So I went through some physical pain to earn my first NHL interview.
Attaboy, Dave. JVR was a great player. He was a great Maple Leaf for a long time. He was a staple, like top line winger for this team through like the lean years. Like, yeah, it sucked. Like when he was with this team, it wasn't good, right? It wasn't good through the most of the 2010s when he was here. Mm-hmm. It was the Shen trade, right? The trade Shen for him. 1 for 1. Shen went to Philly. He came here, and JVR had a much better career than Shen did at the end of the day. So that was a
big win of a trade.
W trade for the Maple Leafs. That was Burke. No, was that a Berkey trade? Must have been.
I think that was like Burke made the trade, and I don't think he ever got to see the trade out because he was fired, and Dave Nonis took over the team.
Was that then?
Yeah, because it was like
the half lockout year.
So his first season was the half lockout year.
Okay, all right. The year they made the playoffs, Game 7.
The year they made the playoffs, again, nostalgia there. He was
4-1 collapse
in those playoffs. 7 points in 7 games in that playoffs. He scored. He had a really good game in Boston. I remember he scored an unreal goal. Like, there was no better Leaf player in front of the net than JVR.
He was clutch. Yeah, he was well at the time.
Yes,
at the time we'll say. But yeah, JVR was a solid Maple Leaf, and he does show up on my list at some point as well. I will say that. So that rounds out your 5 players for 20 through 16. So you got JVR at 16. And then go through the rest of your list. You had JVR at 16. Who was at 17?
Steve Thomas at 17. Darcy Tucker at 18. Dimitri Yuskevich at 19. And Sergei Beresin at 20.
All right. So we have 2 overlaps on my list. We'll get to that next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you here. We're going through the top 25 Maple Leafs in the last 25 years. Parameters had to play at least 3 years with the team. We talked about longevity. You talk about production while with the Maple Leafs, not what they did before or after the career, but production with the Maple Leafs, and the lore, right? Like the fan favorites, like that also played a bit of a role here when we're ranking our top 25 Leafs in the last quarter century. So Dave had his list. It's now time for me to unveil my list 20 through 16. And once again, I'll just remind you what I had. I had 25 through 21. Nikolai Kulemin, TJ Brody, Nick Antropov, Tyler Bozak, and Jake McCabe at number 21. Coming at number 20 at Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman came in at number 20 for me. And again, just a reminder, it's not what did you do when you left, it's what did you do while you were with the Leafs. And Hyman was great. Don't get me wrong. There's just a really solid group of players that have played for the team in 25 years. But Hyman was like a top 9 player. He was like a, kind of second liner, but more so a really good third line penalty killing, electricity type of guy, right? Like he that's kind of what he was. He was an Energizer bunny in a way. And then he obviously went to Edmonton and turned into a 50 goal scorer by standing next to the net and just tapping in passes from Connor McDavid. Anyways, but Hyman was a great Leaf. He wanted to stay. He should have stayed. The Maple Leafs should have made it work. He's a top 20 Leaf for me in the last 25 years for sure. So I got him coming in at number 20.
That's a solid. Yeah, solid. He wasn't, as I said on my list, he wasn't worthy of being inside the top 20 because we can't look at his production past.
Yeah.
He
only had a career high, 43 points
as
a Maple Leaf. Like that was his career high when he was with Toronto. So that's the numbers that we had to go by production-wise with the team. Coming in at number 19, JVR. So I had JVR coming in also. That's one of our 2 overlaps here in this portion of the list. I had JVR at number 19, and much of what I said in the previous segment, like this guy was just a beacon of consistency. He would go out there, he was healthy, he would go out and score 25 to 30 goals each and every year. It was the lean years, but he went out there and he did it. He did what he had to do each and every night. And yes, he was the guy in and around the net, whether it was on the power play or banging away at rebounds. Like JVR, he could score in tight, and he scored a lot of goals when he was a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He ended up with 36 goals, a career high. His final season in Toronto, scored 36, scored 29 the year before that, and then 30 a couple of years prior to that. So JVR, he's a guy who, you look at like top Maple Leaf stats of all time, like he's in there when it comes to goals. Like he's played for the team for a while, and he's on the list in terms of, being top goal scorers in the franchise. So, for me, he's got to be on the list. And I think at 19, that's about where I thought he slotted in fairly well. This one's going to surprise you. I will be honest, coming in at number 18. I'm curious if you have him on your list. You probably should, just based on his numbers. But whether you do, I don't know. I guess we'll find out when you continue on with your list. But Fred Andersen. I had Freddie Andersen on my list, and I got him here coming in at number 18. Look, he was solid for the Leafs. Like he crumbled a little bit in the playoffs. He would give up those bad goals. I get it. But like you look at his save percentage each and every year is with Toronto, 918, 918, 917, right? And then it kind of dropped off his last couple of years here when they were terrible. Actually, they weren't terrible by then, but he was just a stud, like an all-around stud when he was with the Maple Leafs. Just career with the Toronto, 5 years, a 914 save percentage, 13 shutouts, a 279 goals against. Like he just had a solid career, brought the team to the playoffs pretty much each and every year that he was in Toronto as the starting goaltender, dating back to when he got there, 16, 17, alongside, the Matthews, Marner era. He was the goalie behind all of that, and he was solid for a good 5 seasons. So, I had Freddie Andersen on my list, put him here at number 18.
Yeah, he was solid goaltender. Longevity too, right? There weren't many goaltenders that played as long and had as consistent numbers as Freddie Andersen.
Well, Freddie was like, you think about the 2000s, like how many goalies really had a run of like 3, 4, 5 years as the starter? Like you can't think of any. You you've got Cujo, you've got Belfour, and then you had really no one who was considered a starter. You had guys who kind of filled in here and there, but no one really was a full-on starter for like 4 or 5 years until you got to Fred Andersen. So, like, you got to give him his respect, and he's definitely has to be on this list. So I thought slotting him in here at number 18 was appropriate.
Yeah, no, definitely appropriate. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I made a little bit of a mistake on my list. I have 2 players twice on my list.
Oh,
so
Dave.
Because you brought up his name, I'm going to ask for a mulligan. Because Sergei Berezin wasn't really proper to put on this list, I'm going to put Frederick Andersen here because he is on my list, but he's on this list twice.
Oh, sure.
Because he is on my list. We're talking about him, so might as well talk about him. Like, I legitimately have him next on my list.
So then who are you putting?
I'm taking Berezin off the list because he only had a cup of coffee with the Leafs in the 2000.
But then was Fred Andersen, but you already have Andersen at 15? So you're moving him back to 20?
I have him on this twice. I put 2 numbers. I messed up the numbering when I did this.
Okay. All right.
So if I move Berezin off, it works. The list still works.
All right. Sounds good. Ty Domi comes in with my next pick at number 17. Domi.
I didn't have Domi on my list. And
you didn't have Domi on your list?
No, because I love the man. I love what again, I loved his fights. His fights were great.
But that's like I'm talking about. Like to me, this list wasn't purely about numbers. It wasn't purely about goals and stats. It was who was the greatest Maple Leafs, right? You're the best Maple Leafs. And when you think about like the Leafs in the 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s, you can't not think about Ty Domi and the fact that he dropped the mitts and fought and put up 3,500 penalty minutes in over 1,000 NHL games, most of which played with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he had to be on this list for me. He is one of the greatest Maple Leafs of all time in terms of being like a fan favorite. Yeah. Like his son just got a massive contract here simply because of the last name. Like there's a little nepotism involved in why Max Domi is with this Maple Leafs team. And it's because his father was so beloved here. Like he has to be on this list, in my opinion.
I was going to put him late on the list. It would have been too much of a nostalgia one for me. Like he has probably one of the most hilarious moments involving
watch the lawsuit. Watch the lawsuit.
Like that to me will always. Ty Domi could have done nothing else in his career, but he would have had that moment. That moment that will live on forever on every single. You watch some of the top 100s or like whatever shows, he's on it for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also the dude's best friends with Tom Brady. How like pretty much with that deserves a little bit of a thing too. But yeah, I didn't have him on the list just because I had other players I felt were a little more deserving to be on the list ahead of him. But like he was very close. I debated hard and I was like, I want to find a way to get Ty on here, but I felt there were other players that I wanted to get on here.
Man, I thought he was someone I had to get on. Had to get him on my list. And yeah, coming at 17, it's like near middle of the pack, so made sense for me. Darcy Tucker is number 16 on my list. So this is the second guy who overlaps in this section here. And for a lot of the same reasons why you had him on your list, right? He was an absolute stud through the 2000s and early 90s. He was a fan favorite, much like Ty Domi, but he actually put up a little bit more offense than Ty, right? So that's why I had him slotted like one spot above. But those two are almost like I think of them in the same like wavelength when I'm thinking of like top Leaf fan favorites, but one scored a little more than the other, and that's why Darcy got the nod at 16 over Ty, who I put in there at 17. So that's how I got to that list there. So Tucker comes in at 16, Ty Domi at 17, Freddie Andersen at 18, JVR at 19, Zach Hyman 20th.
It's a solid list.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think my computer's getting set to die on us. So let's wrap this thing up before it truly does, because that'll do it for us here today on the podcast. And thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys on Friday to unveil numbers 15 to 11 of the top 25 Leafs of the last 25 years. So be sure to check back in on Friday. Until then, keep locked right here on Locked On Leafs.